I'm Becky Meagher, and welcome to Transitions, Body, Mind, Spirit. Transitions, we have so many different transitions in our life, and I like to use the metaphor of triathlon, something I've been doing the past 13 years. You know, in a triathlon, first you swim, and then you get in a transition area, and then you bicycle, and then you transition again, and then you run. And it's a great metaphor for all the different things we do in our lives. We change from one thing to another, and a lot of us don't even know about the backgrounds of how we got to where we got. And I have a very, very interesting guest today who has an amazing life and an amazing story. And she is the CEO of the Interfaith Dental Clinic in Middle Tennessee. And Rhonda Switzer Nadesty.
Perfect.
All right. Well, welcome, welcome. Glad
Thank
you are here. And we're going to get to your early background, but first, give us a little synopsis of what the Interfaith Dental Clinic is, and that you were trained as a dentist also. But tell us about what you do now.
Right, so the local dental community, the Nashville Dental Society, and West End United Methodist Church saw that there was real need in their community for people that were uninsured and low income to receive dental services. At Interfaith Dental, we believe that a smile changes everything, and that's what the volunteers at Interfaith Dental try to do, try to help people look workplace ready so they can have more job opportunities, help people be healthy in their mouth so they'll be overall healthy, and help people keep the teeth that they have for their whole lives. So it's a really, really fun organization. I get the joy of being a dentist for some of those people in the community, but also matching the volunteers with clients in need.
Wow. And so when I think of low-income people, is this everything from the working poor to somebody just on the street that doesn't have a job?
Yep, all the way through, people living 250% poverty and below. Most people that are low income are working. Even most homeless people are working in some capacity. We see people age newborns to 99. We actually have a woman 99 in our care. I think people are surprised that Medicare doesn't include any dental in it, and Medicaid in our state doesn't cover anyone over age 21. So there's a huge need. We are a very toothless state.
Golly. As far as nationally, how does Tennessee rank with dental care?
We're 47th.
Oh my, that's not good.
Not good, not good.
Wow, wow. So you are a dentist, and do you? But of course, you oversee this mass array of volunteers, dental volunteers, hygienists. But do you also do actual physical care still with patients?
When they let me, yes. And it's the part that I really, enjoy as well. And it keeps me focused on why, when things get challenging, why it's so important, the work that I'm doing when I see the people in need.
Wow. I think it's fascinating that your background, and let's talk a little bit about where you were born, and you were born in Canada and Manitoba.
Right.
Right? And when I asked you before, I said, well, how did you decide to even be a dentist? Where was that teenage girl when you went, okay, maybe I might want to go to dental school? So it's a fascinating story of something that could have been a tragedy, and you totally turned it around and made it a success story. So tell us about that.
Right, well, I grew up in a rural community. There wasn't a dentist in the community.
Wow.
When I first went, I had lots of cavities, but I also realized that I had a real underlying problem, that my jaws were not meeting together like they should. And I only had 2 teeth that actually touched together when I chewed. And the dentist said that it would be a real problem as I aged that I would be in dentures at a young age,
Mm.
that the wear and tear on it. So that was scary. But my parents drove to the city with me and got to meet a wonderful orthodontist and an oral surgeon. And the oral surgeon was able to break my jaws and put them back together in a way that now I have a good smile. So that they had to wait until I'd stopped growing to do the surgery. So there was a lot of years there from 5th grade to 10th grade, but you know, it made me tough to have the nickname Chinocchio.
Chinocchio.
I know, I
my.
know, I know. But so I thought, you know, maybe that's something I could do. So then ended up working in the summers for a dentist, the one that my parents found, and just thought everything that he did was fascinating. So I was pretty focused then on my grades, and so I went to dental school in Canada. And when I finished, dentists don't have to do a residency, but I was young when I finished and really wanted to be able to do more. So I did a residency at the VA in Louisville.
In America.
In America, and that's what really changed the trajectory of my career when I saw all these veterans that had served their country and weren't covered for care. I could do it if I said it was a teaching case, then you know it was allowed to be done. So, and I had all this extra training in my residency that most dentists didn't have, and I wanted to use it. So I took a post in the Canadian Arctic.
In the Canadian Arctic.
Yes, you could only get there by plane.
Oh my heavens,
yes.
from America to the Arctic. And what were you doing in the Arctic?
So the Inuit people didn't have access to care, so I served them and the people that worked at the hospital. And it was a grain port, so there was workers at the port. So I was there for 2 years, but I got cold. So I went to Bermuda after that.
After Canada, then Bermuda. Whoa, that's a change.
Right, right.
Oh.
I think people are surprised that, you know, in some careers you can go anywhere in the world. So I had this great training, and that allowed me that opportunity. And in Bermuda, again, I worked for the government, and the prison system needed a dentist, and the nursing home, and the mental hospital, and the children's clinic. So I did a little bit of everything.
Wow. And did you see like a theme, like with the native people in Canada, and the health of their mouths and teeth? Did that like affect them throughout all parts of their life? They were depressed. They didn't want to get a job, or you know, how does that interrelated?
Right. Well, if you don't have the dollars or the insurance to go, it just stacks up. So people in poverty suffer a lot more from dental disease than others because they don't have the ability to get it taken care of early. So that is what we saw. And for the Inuit people in Canada, some of their diet was muktuk, which is like a whale blubber, and some dried caribou that's like beef jerky. And both of those things were difficult to manage in dentures. So often we saw quite a decline when people's oral health declined. It really affected them in a deep way.
Wow. And I think in terms of the cosmetic angle of dentistry, but it's really the health, because if your teeth are rotting, there's other parts of your body which will be affected. Is that right?
Right, and we know more and more about that now, that connection, that there is a relationship between gum disease and diabetes, heart disease, stroke, rheumatoid arthritis, and even Alzheimer's.
Really? Wow.
See your dentist.
Yes. A lot of people don't realize that's so interrelated. Wow. Wow. So there you are in Bermuda, out from Canada, and again, you're kind of serving the underserved, the old people and the children and the people in prison. And then what happens?
Well, I'd had a boyfriend for quite some time, and he was in the music business.
And then the call
Yes,
of
Nashville, yes. So the artist that he was working for, Michelle Wright, landed a record deal in Nashville, and so they were able to all relocate here. And so he said, come now, let's try living in the same country maybe and see if that works. So I thought to come. Now, I didn't have a green card. or a license to practice, or a job. But I had remembered an orthodontist at my school in Canada, Dr. Arthur Anderson, and he had relocated to Nashville. So I gave him a call, and he said, "Oh, I know what you should do. There's this dentist next door to me, Dr. Tom Underwood, and he has started a charity clinic in the basement of a church. This is what you were meant to do." So it all worked out.
He predicted your next part of your life. That's amazing. Wow. And it just, on faith and love, you came to Nashville. Hey, I'm not, I don't have the da-da-da-da. And then magically, you're told, hey, this is perfect.
We do some crazy things for love,
Yes.
but it usually works out. Right.
Isn't that funny?
Right.
So what happened to that boyfriend?
Well, at the time, Bishop Clark was chairman of the board, and he made a motion that I should marry him. So we did end up getting married, and now have 2 beautiful boys. So.
Wow, and part of this wonderful background story too is you are a very good golfer and a very good hockey player, right?
Right. Well, you said transition, so my sporting life has had some. So I didn't start out as a hockey player or a golfer. I was actually a figure skater.
Okay, and since you were a little girl, right?
Right.
When
right.
did you start to figure skate?
I think as soon as I could walk. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And then when you were going to school as a young girl, girls didn't play hockey. Is that right?
No, I had the Dorothy Hamill haircut, and I was all in on figure skating. But I was also a little more Tanya Harding maybe than Nancy Kerrigan in the grace department. So I didn't make it as far as I wanted to, and finally gave it up and took up golf.
Okay. And was that when you were in the Bahamas or?
No, it's high school.
In high school, wow. So it was golf and figure skating, but somehow or other hockey came into your life. And it is so unusual to hear a woman hockey player and you're still playing, which is really cool. But tell us about that too.
Well, people think all Canadians play hockey. Well, and growing up, I was often on the pond in my figure skates, playing with the boys and my dad doing whatever. But I had not ever really played. And when I was pregnant with my second son, I met a wonderful girl who I had inquired, how are you going to get fit again after your child comes? And she said, well, I play in a women's ice hockey league in Nashville.
Wow.
And I said, there's women's ice hockey in Nashville? And so that would have been late 2002. And there was a good little group of us. Some girls came from Clarksville that were in the military. And we had a team together, and we weren't too bad. Our little kids would be in the stands cheering for us, and it was a lot of fun.
Wow, so the kids watch mom playing hockey. I love that. That is so cool. Wow, and so your 2 boys got to see you, and they became hockey players, right?
Well, we did say to them, isn't it time now, when they became 5 or 6, to start playing hockey? And the older one said, why would we play a girls' game?
Oh.
I know. But my youngest now, he's quite a good hockey player, so I'm really proud of him. He's 16.
16, and your other son is 19,
right.
wanting to be the next film director.
Yes, he is.
Yes, excellent, excellent. So they have watched a very creative mom and a very creative dad in their life, and your husband has just recently retired from the music business, or is that wrong?
It's been a few years now that he's been retired. He was on the road for 21 years. He says he shows it, but he doesn't. But he is very, very talented piano player, and now shares that gift with other children that he teaches.
So he teaches piano, and does he do a few gigs out in there in Music City?
Yeah, well, his first question is, how far do I have to carry my piano? And if it's not very far, then he usually will take the gig, no matter what it pays.
Wow. Is there a particular band that he plays with?
So San Rafael is a Latin band. Now, my husband's not Latin, but he loves that music. And San Rafael's very talented, so.
Okay.
And then he started with a group of his friends, the Bob Bourbon Band, but you might need to stay tuned for whether they will be playing anywhere or not.
Okay. Okay. Well, in Music City, everybody has a story in the music.
Right.
I came here for the music business myself, before I got into real estate. So there you go. Wow. Wow. So there we are, back. You are getting told that this is the job for you. And I think it's really neat. It was something you hadn't done being a CEO of a nonprofit.
Right. All the positions I had were government programs where, the program was pretty much laid out. This is what you do. This is who you're going to care for. So this was pretty ground up, really, as an entrepreneur, to make this charity go. Now, the board of directors had assembled a wonderful group of volunteers. They had their vision in place. They wanted to treat everybody like they were kings and queens and do dentistry that was going to be good enough for their moms if their mom got in a financial situation that was in need.
Vision.
So it really, and they wanted to be able to do everything dentistry could do, the latest and greatest, and help people really get all the way to wellness. So all of that was in place, but I didn't know anything about fundraising or how to get to know everybody in Nashville. I wasn't from here. So it took a lot, but the Center for Nonprofit Management was wonderful, and I surrounded myself with really smart people that knew everybody in town and just harnessed the energy of all those wonderful volunteers, and it took off. So the clinic started the fall of '94, and I started in February of '95, so it was 24 years ago this month.
Wow.
And the agency will be 25 this year, and we just moved into our new home. So our new building is on Murfreesboro Road. It's the old Aladdin Industries corporate head office. And we were able to grow from 10 treatment rooms to 18, which is a big jump from the 2 little ones we had in the church. So we have that and a facility in Murfreesboro, too.
Wow, 18 treatment rooms. That's a lot of care for a lot of people. And they all are the underserved population. And isn't it wonderful that they can get care and be able to get a job? And, when I see people without their front teeth and all, it affects them. It affects not only that they don't want to smile, but their whole self-worth and all of that. Yeah. So I have to find out, how did you get the funding? I mean, here we are 20-some years later, you were in the church, and this is built up to now a new building. Where'd the money come from? How'd you do that?
From a very generous community. Well, we were very smart in the beginning. So when we started, the church really provided everything, which, was wonderful for a startup. I mean, we didn't even pay for, water. I mean, everything was part of the church. So we could really focus on what we were trying to do and serving people well. And then as we grew, we needed our own space. And again, we were very smart and purchased a building that over time has gone up in value. So we were able to sell it to help with the new one. But we also, in our new building, we partnered with 2 other charities. So Prevent Child Abuse Tennessee and Make-A-Wish Foundation are sharing the building with us. So that allows us to have our own spaces, but then, we don't need 3 boardrooms. We don't need 3 training rooms. We don't need 3 kitchens. So we're sharing everything together. And I think that collective energy will also help us all reach the greatest impact that we can. And it was good timing that HCA Healthcare was having their 50th anniversary, and they gave us $1 million to help make this happen. So.
Excellent, excellent. And then are you out there fundraising also with different philanthropic individuals, or tell us more about that.
Right, so, obviously people in the dental community are supporters, but it takes a lot more than dentists to do, this kind of effort. So we're talking to lots of different companies that want to get involved in a philanthropic way, as well as some family foundations and many individuals, and the faith community and the service community have all been really, really supportive. So it's been this Nashville is just a wonderful, wonderful place to be.
And the interfaith part of the title. Tell us more about, is this everything from Jewish and Christian, and who makes up that interfaith part?
Right. So the founders were really, wise again. This needs to be an effort of everybody.
Okay.
And, they saw that if people of all faiths served together, they would really know more about each other and how they live out their faith. And that's been very special.
The sense of community. Right. Hey, we have different faiths, but look how we can all work together to help people that need dental care. Right. Yeah, wow. So can you say broadly, is it Christian and is there Jewish?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah? The full Monty there.
The full Monty, that's
yeah.
right. That's right.
Excellent. And then when I was on your website, and we'll put that on the credits, we'll put the website up there, it was very succinct as far as saying, okay, here are the volunteers, and we have volunteer dentists, volunteer hygienists, and the professionals that volunteer, and also volunteer regular people, I guess, that are helping find people but there are people that are paid also, right?
Right. So we have 35 paid staff between the two offices.
That's big.
But they are supported by all of these volunteers that come in and help. So you're right. You don't have to be a dentist to volunteer. We like everybody to be involved, but that's what we need, the most. And we also, think long-term for the organization, and I do too. I want to practice as long as I can. But we also train people how to care for people that are less served, the different cultures that are coming to see us, the age groups, the social determinants that happened to have their health be so poor at this time. So we have our own residency program, just like the one I did at the VA. We've partnered with NYU in New York to do our own program.
New York?
New York,
NYU
right?
New York is here?
Right,
Wow.
that's right. Right. And then as well as with the oral surgery residents from Vanderbilt.
Okay, wow. So you're getting the Vanderbilt surgery residents, dental surgery residents, is that? Okay, so they get hands-on experience right there. And then people from NYU, I never knew that, coming down. And wow, what an amazing amalgam of energies there. And people are learning how to deal with it sounds like everybody has pretty major, possibly, problems with their teeth, and because it's been ignored and they didn't have the money, and it's not like everybody in the $1 million salary range and they have the best of the best. It's like, hey, this sounds like really a lot of work. Yeah. Yes. And having the right attitude. It sounds like the vision, which you said from the very beginning, treating them like kings and queens. Is that still going on?
Yes, yeah.
How is that shown?
Well, the facility is amazing, so we have the best technology to make that happen. But it's really, the team that is on the paid staff, they're there because they want to act out their faith and they want to care for people. They're real servants. Every day I see that interfaith team going way above and beyond, whether it's sitting down with a client and helping them sort out how to get a food hamper as well, or jump starting their car in the parking lot to get back home. I mean, whatever's needed, playing with the child in the waiting room while mom gets their care. I mean, I see it acted out every day. It's wonderful to see. People are wonderful.
Wow. And it sounds like that vision, and people are, this is the part of their faith, whatever it is, to help, like the namaste, the God within and you, the honor of actually treating them really well. And when they walk in the door, giving them a sense of, hey, I'm human, I'm good, yeah, what a great thing.
I think sometimes when people have been so ill. You know,
Yeah.
they're ashamed, they're embarrassed of it,
Right.
and have had many doors closed to them.
Right.
So they're often not used to that kind of love and saying, you know, you're really important. We're really glad you're here. Let's work together to help you get where you want to be.
And it's on a sliding scale, right?
Correct.
So is anyone turned down?
Well, some people that apply, you have to show proof of income. Some people's income level is higher than what we take, and people that have insurance, we don't help in that aspect. So, other than that, you just have to live in the 10-county region of where we are, and
10
we go
county?
from there. 10 county, I know.
Oh, wow.
We often bite off more than we can chew.
Wow. And do you have a mobile unit?
No.
Okay, so they're coming in or
They're
going
coming
to
in,
Murfreesboro
that's right.
and getting their care, and then coming out the other side. And that's care from extraction to surgery, and what else?
Dentures, crowns,
Dentures.
root canals, all those fun things.
All those, oh God, which are very expensive for anybody. And a lot of the population just can't afford it, especially if you're trying to feed your kids and trying to pay for lodging and all that. Yeah.
Right, and especially in our city as it's growing, people are finding their housing costs being higher, their transportation costs being higher. And that, you know, there is ways to help reduce your own oral health costs. It's planning ahead for those types of things, and it's doing what you need to do in your home care. And establishing, you know, regular routine of visiting the dentist. So I'm glad we're able to be that dental home for people.
Yes. Well, I think your story is truly amazing, and the whole idea of back in high school, you needing surgery and everything for your own self, and then that pathway led you, well, I'm going to be a dentist after all the work I had, and then going on and helping the underserved with the Canadian Inuit people. And who knew that coming to Music City, like so many people, that your path would have music in it, and you're a hockey player still in a women's league, which is just absolutely amazing. And your kids are enjoying being in Music City, and also some of the hockey and all that. So I just think it's a great story. And if people want to know more, what is your website?
So interfaithdentalclinic.com.
Interfaithdentalclinic.com.
Right.
All right, interfaithdentalclinic.com. Very good. Well, Rhonda, thank you so much. This is Transitions, Body, Mind, Spirit. Thanks.